everybody. This is Mike Hughes, and you are listening to the Shy Kid podcast presented by the Give Us a Shot Network. So make sure you give us a like, give us a follow. If you haven't checked out our recent episodes of Protect Our Queen, stuff about sports, the divide, or so much more, definitely make sure you give that a shout out. As you can see, today we are on the cellular device because for whatever reason, God said that the new camera I just bought that was brand spanking new out of Best Buy just wasn't good enough. So we're gonna have to do some more digging. I'll have to talk to Germ and see what he's using because for whatever reason, every single interview I've been doing, we've been freezing up. But I got my dog here, man. I got my guy. I got my road dog, the man, the champion himself. Just won a championship oh so recently. Probably the only Chicago baseball player that'll win a championship this year. Got Miles Porter. Miles Porter in the building. How we feeling, baby?
Hey man, feeling good. I'm happy you had me on. This is. I mean, I've been wanting to be on the show for a while, man. So I appreciate this. I'm honored. I'm just honored to be here,
Oh,
bro.
stop it. Stop it. I mean, we do shows together all the time at War Media. So always check out at Bat Podcast. Saul, Gabe, Miles, and sometimes myself when they feel like bringing me on. You can't have too much of Mike. Sometimes it's too much. I understand. I
We need
understand.
as
I
much
get it.
mic as possible. I just want to
No,
put
no,
that.
no. We need less Mike. We need less Mike in this world. But man, last night, historic night. The
Yeah.
first time since 1972, the same year The Godfather was released, the same year Walter Payton at Jackson State had 7 touchdowns as a sophomore. The Chicago Cubs threw their first no-hitter at Wrigley Field. It was a combined no-hitter with Shota Imanaga at Showtime at Wrigley Field. No other way to go about it. You and I have been insanely high on him all year
Yeah.
long. Nate Pearson, who, hey man, at the end of the year, I could say the Cubs traded for Nate Pearson and he threw a no-hitter. Now, in between that is facts and some twisted truths, but it is still a
Yes.
fact nonetheless. And Porter Hodge to finish it off. We have so much to talk about. Miles,
Yeah.
first, I want your opinion on this series and why it was so important for last night to happen the way it did, because the first 2 games of this series kind of just swept the rug right from under us.
Yeah, I think one of the important things about last night's win was not only the no hitter, but just kind of the Cubs refining themselves in a sense. Those first two losses were very painful to watch, extremely painful. Even the night before the game that I was at, with my girlfriend, PCA having a golden sombrero, that sucks, bro.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get demoralized after those kind of games. And so a game like yesterday really lifts everybody up because they well. So you got it, and you need some sort of confidence going into the series with the Yankees, which is not going to be easy. Obviously, the Yankees are struggling right now. They got their issue with Clay Holmes, and they're trying to figure out their closing situation, trying to figure out everything with Verdugo. Do we bring up the Martian from the minor leagues? Jason Dominguez. A lot of things that they're trying to figure out. But they're still a very competitive team. They're still the Yankees, and so, hey, man, the Cubs need all the confidence they can get right now.
Yeah, for sure. And to get into that Yankees thing, just really quickly, because I know a lot of people are going to be like, why are they talking about the Yankees? I had an idea that Anthony Rizzo was going to return, but, guys like me and you who were literally there the day after the injury happened in Chicago to Jazz Chisholm, I thought that was season ending. I thought we weren't going to see Jazz the remainder of the year. So to
Yeah.
have him back as well, there has been some life for the Yankees as of late. I was watching Foul Territory earlier today. It was an interesting conversation how they were saying that Josh Hader only had one offer this offseason, and that was the Houston Astros. So to see the Yankees in this state right now saying they didn't want to trade away prospects in order to get something, you could have got Josh Hader. The Cubs could have got Josh Hader. There's a bunch of teams out there right now that are probably kicking themselves over it. I just thought that was an interesting conversation that they're
For
kind of,
sure.
saying like a team like the Yankees, they said they didn't have to because obviously they were high on Holmes and they didn't believe that that was going to be what they needed to address. But when you're the Yankees, you might as well. You know what I mean? We don't need to, but we did it because we can. And I think that's kind of the motto. Just like the Dodgers have been showing us year in and year out, just why do we do it? Because we can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's definitely interesting, man. Especially when you sweep the Pirates, you sweep the Nationals. You and I were texting about it. The false hope of late August. The Cubs do it to us every year, and then lose 2 out of 3 to the Pittsburgh Pirates at Wrigley Field just after sweeping them. Knowing we have the Dodgers coming up in LA, knowing we have the Yankees and Rizzo's return tomorrow, which will be there. Um, man, just how do you feel about September baseball for the Chicago Cubs right now as it pertains to the likelihood of them getting one of those final wild card spots. Because after that, I believe we have after the Yankees and the Dodgers, we have the A's, and if I'm not mistaken, the Rockies. But I could be wrong on that one.
Yeah, and really, I think this is the hardest part of the schedule for September because even after that, I think the Nationals come to town as well.
Yeah.
This is crucial. I mean, it's crucial in the sense if the Cubs really want to have any sort of chance to get into October, it's not going to be easy. But you got to handle your business at Wrigley against the Yankees, and you have to at least win the series in LA against the Dodgers. I mean, it's I mean, it is like this close, but at the same time, I really don't see the Braves losing that spot. I know they've kind of been sliding a little bit this year, and that third wild card spot has been kind of iffy. I just do not believe it's in the Braves' DNA. And if I'm not mistaken, but we have the Diamondbacks ahead of us as well. We got to stack all the wins that we can get. There's really very little room for error, especially with us losing that series. We made it even harder for ourselves. Yeah, I mean, it's either you want it or you don't want it, and you look to next year.
Oh, for sure, man. And I was there for Skiing Day. You were there. We're watching Paul do his thing. You leave the bases loaded in the first and second inning,
Yeah.
and you really could have got the jump on Paul Skeens the way they did in Pittsburgh. I shot him a text. My guy Jim shot him a text as well, where I was saying PCA put belt to ass in Pittsburgh, so that was great to see. And but Paul made me eat crow. I can't lie. So no pun intended. But Pete Crow Armstrong. But I think, man, for me, just seeing the way the Chicago Cubs have gone about this season as a whole, this is why I love when I have you on the show or someone who is genuinely a diehard fan because we're not talking analytics, we're not talking numbers, we're talking reality. And I think because of last night, and we're gonna get into that, and we're gonna talk about Showtime. We're gonna talk about how Mike Hughes stumbled into a second inning no hitter. Wasn't even supposed to be going in there, but we'll talk about that. Was doing some stuff with obvious shirts. No one wanted to be in my video outside, so I had to buy a $2 ticket to go into the bleachers. Where a man, we're gonna get into that later. But
Shame on some of you, man.
Man, crazy. But we look at this season as a whole. You have Shota Imanaga, who was pretty much the replacement for Marcus Stroman, who the first half of last year obviously was an all-star, and then the second half barely pitched 34 games. So you look at that and you go, okay, you got Imanaga, who's an all-star in his rookie year. He's been incredible at 2.99 ERA, throws the first no-hitter at Wrigley since the 70s. I mean, the Cubs bring him in. You obviously have a healthy Jameson Taillon. Kyle Hendricks is looking better. Justin Steele's healthy. You would bring in Pete Crow Armstrong, who's batting over 300 over the last 30 days. Miguel Amaya's figured it out. You have one of the best managers in baseball. You have all these things clicking. Over the last 30 games, mind you, as well, Dansby Swanson, who has been MIA for the majority of this season, is also batting 300. He's hitting dingers left and right. And, I mean, Miles, for any Cubs fan right now, is it delusional to say that even if we missed the playoffs this year, it was a successful year with the additions that we've really, and when you really look at the additions this year, the Shota Imanaga, the Isaac Paredes, the Craig Counsels of the world, are you disappointed by not making the playoffs still at this point?
You know what? I have not thought about that. I think it really depends on what you were expecting out of the Cubs this year. I think we have a handful of Cubs fans that are expecting them to improve off of what happened last year, in terms of, hey, that was a very good team last year. They went through it. They understand. They have the experience. Okay, great. We're going to come into this year. Now we know how to finish the job. You know what? I'm going to say yes, because I think that we've learned about some of the pieces around us. We've learned about what we need to add. I think the Cubs have actually done a good job at, parting ways with certain players where it's like, okay, this isn't working. We got to go in a different direction. For example, Hector Neris. I think that was one of the best decisions that was made. It wasn't working, and it obviously wasn't working in the closer spot. He wasn't working in the setup role. So, they parted ways with him, and it was cool kind of seeing them invest in their younger pitchers. I'm gonna say yeah. I think now we really know who this team is. I would just love for them to sort of figure out how are you going to build off of this. It cannot be the same team going into 2025. That's infuriating to a lot of fans, me included. Give some of these prospects a chance. get some more veterans, get a bopper, whoever. I just ask going into next year, we actually build off of this year, and add whatever that may be. Prospects, go sign whoever. Where they're not going to sign Juan Soto. That ain't Jed and Tom ain't going to do that.
Hey, chill.
I
I
just
get to live that pipe dream. I get to live that pipe dream till
no,
February.
yes, I want it too. I'm just trying to put it out there so I don't get disappointed. Okay,
Of course.
I've seen this before.
I'm ready to be disappointed. I'm completely okay with it.
Yeah. I think it just depends on how you look at it, but I do see the season as a success, and our young guys are starting to slowly grow in front of us. Feel like proud parents.
Yeah, for sure. No, and it's gonna be one of those things for me, man. Really looking at it for what it is and understanding that last year was the year for me. Last year was the year where this team, this organization, really made something out of nothing. And they showed us towards the end of the year what they could potentially be. They went on a run. They did things the right way, even with limited stuff like David Ross and others. I think for me, man, it's bullshit to sit here and sell me that this team not making the playoffs can still be a successful season. Isaac Paredes is now your answer at third base. You bring him in. Shota Imanaga is throwing a no-hitter with a sub-3 ERA, and he's an all-star in his first year. Crow Armstrong, over the second half of this season, looks like a franchise player. Dansby Swanson's hitting the lights out the ball like he never has before in the month of August. Like, this is the time. This is the time to get everything to figure out, to get everything that you've needed to do to get to this point. You bring in Craig Counsell so that when you do get to September, you're playing winning baseball. So if you're going to sell me this idea, not you, but if they're trying to sell me this idea that it could still be a successful season, it's not. Individually, Crow Armstrong, I called him out. I was on War Media. We were doing our thing. I said, man, I'm tired of once a week you hitting a bomb or stealing a bag and flexing for the cameras. I want to see that every single day. And since I've said that, that's, again, has nothing to do with me, but I've eaten crow, no pun intended, every single day because Crow Armstrong has turned into one of the better players in Major League Baseball, one of the better younger players. So it's been great to see guys really just holding themselves accountable and being the best versions of themselves. And I say all that and still say that we might miss the playoffs. And that's the more frustrating thing to me is when Crow Armstrong's batting 300 since All-Star break pretty much. He has 26 stolen bases. He's playing Gold Glove defense every day in center field. And you're going to sit here and tell me that we're no better than we were last year. And that's a problem. Because last year, Miles, if you would have told me, yeah, you had, Christopher Morel and Patrick Wisdom at third. You had Mike Talkman in center. You know what I mean? Like, all right, fine. You didn't have a first baseman. Fine. Right. It is what it is. Outside of Marcus Stroman goes down, season shit. Makes sense. Adbert was pretty much the only thing keeping us going towards the later half of last year. But now we're having the same success even without Adbert in them. So it's like it's definitely frustrating, man. But last night I'm making a video that's coming out hopefully tomorrow if me and Miles can scavenge a couple more interviews. But we're making this video for Anthony Rizzo, and we're doing it with obvious shirts. I'm walking around with my guy Mondo, and I have no business going into this game. I expected to just show up, make some videos so I can post it early tomorrow morning, and go about my day so I could just enjoy the return of 44 in a peaceful manner. But things didn't work out. So I had to buy a $2 ticket off of SeatGeek. Shout out SeatGeek. I go inside. It's about the third inning. I get to see the Dansby Swanson home run, back-to-back jack with Crow Armstrong. Love to see it. I'm like, oh, man, this is a great game. And then I look. Oh, man. It's happened. It's a little early, but you know how I get. I talk to you about this all the time. It'll be the first inning, and I'll be like, hey. I've been waiting for this my whole life. Is this it? So we stay until about the end of the seventh, and then I get out of there because I know they're pulling out Imanaga. I'm listening to the game the whole ride home. Listen, chat, everybody here in the comments, I do not care if I didn't see the beginning nor the end. I was there for several innings, and I got to witness my first no-hitter. It was a bucket list, man. It was a dream come true. Saul Rodriguez was there as well. Shout out to him. Didn't see him. Saul I definitely needed you last night. Could have been in the video. Could have got a nice little gift card for you, but nope. But yeah, man, it's definitely I'll tell you what. before we get in, this is the pod, so we could just shoot the shit when I'm with Miles. But I had one guy, I'm interviewing him, man. And no spoilers, but I mean, whatever. It's coming out tomorrow. Basically, I'm walking around, I'm asking fans, does Anthony Rizzo deserve to be the next Chicago Cub that gets a statue at Wrigley Field? That's what we're talking about. Got this Italian guy named Anthony. Tells me Anthony Rizzo deserves a statue because my name is also Anthony. He has an awesome last name, or he has an awesome name, and I'm also Italian. So yeah, I'm just looking at him. I got the mic in hand, and I'm just like, okay, thanks. You could have lied to me. You could have said it's because he won the World Series or because he's, a good guy. No, you told me it was because you like his name. His name is awesome because you have the same name. So shout out Anthony. Thanks for being in the video. Thanks for. I mean, never mind. But that was my night. That was my night, Miles. And the hobby buyers one. We got great content. We got great footage. This episode, not so much. Not so much at all. So definitely frustrating.
We have to
Definitely
get
frustrating.
better answers tomorrow. I mean, he's going to be in town, right? That's what we're hoping. This is, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it was so frustrating. It was one of those things where I don't even know what to do. Miles, am I clear? By the way, can you see me perfectly fine?
I can see you. We're on a small delay. It's a little bit blurry.
Oh,
Okay,
oh,
now you're good.
oh,
It's just
oh.
blurry. I don't know.
I, man, I don't know what's happening, bro. This is just so frustrating. It's literally always happening, bro. It's literally always happening. I don't know what to do
It,
anymore,
it doesn't
but
happen
we'll
all the
figure it out.
time.
Yeah, it doesn't, and that's what gets me hot. It's because it's like when you're talking, it'll be perfectly fine, and then I'll say something, and it'll be like, "Nah, fuck you." But anyways, man, we'll we'll get into it before I go on another long sabbatical. Shota Imanaga's no hitter, man. Take me through, your emotions and what that means for you, especially for his Rookie of the Year campaign. Really.
Dude, he was lights out last night, and um, when me and Canberra are on the couch, like just watching the game, I'm noticing it. She's amazing. She knows how this works in the baseball community. You don't really point it out, right? You kind of let it unfold a little bit. By the way, the Pirates, they didn't stand a chance. No, it seemed like such a large skill gap last night. It was almost like the senior pitching to the freshman. That's what it felt like I was watching. There was just no chance. He was locating, he was dotting the zone, he was pitching with a lot of confidence, he was pitching with authority, was not afraid to attack hitters no matter who was up. Um, and I loved it. I loved seeing that. He's just going right at dudes, and he has a very like eccentric, like exuberant personality. If it's a pitch, if it's a call he doesn't like, he gets it, he snaps his glove, or if it's maybe like on the line a little bit, he kind of holds his pose. It's like, is that going to be a strike? What are you going to call that? And it's just cool, man. He pitches with so much personality, and he just last night was just him at his best. So
Yeah.
as we were getting closer and closer, I was like, okay. And then when they took him out, I was like, okay. I wonder which reliever is going to come in and have to kind of take on this responsibility. So I mean, really, it was the last inning with Porter Hodge, and my heart was pounding the most.
Yeah. Hodge was the one that I questioned if he would have been able to get out of it because Nate Pearson, I
Yeah,
think, was an amazing person to throw in there just because he throws high velo. He's throwing flamethrowers, and obviously,
yeah,
you got a lineup right now that I mean they couldn't hit water if they fell off a damn boat. So like, you're looking at that and you're saying, okay, I believe Pearson's going to be able to locate. He's going to be able to get quality at bats, quality pitches. So
yeah.
I'm excited to see Hodge going into the ninth, but I'm also kind of like, I've never seen Porter in one of these situations, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And he did his thing, man. I want to give flowers to Miguel Amaya, who statistically has not been a great defensive catcher all year long. To be able to throw this reminds me so much of, Wilson Contreras and was it Alec Mills? It was Wilson
Oh yeah,
Contreras and Alec Mills, and it was
yeah,
like, everybody was saying Wilson Contreras doesn't call good games as a catcher, and then obviously he throws one. So shout out Miggy, man. Shout out Miggy being able to get there. Offensively had a great night as well. Again, he was a part of a great bottom half of this lineup that was able to just put together great quality at bats. Cubs win 12-0. But the big thing I take away from this is, to me, in the National League, I have to go out and say today, I think Shota Imanaga is top two in the National League Rookie of the Year race. And he's obviously two to Paul Skeens. But when you look at it, man, I mean, Shota Imanaga has been absolutely incredible. You can look at the stats, we'll put them below when we make this, but what he's been able to do with a sub-3 ERA, being an all-star the first half of the year, a no-hitter, and to see him in the rankings at 4 or 5 in the National League, not even in the entire league. I don't see three rookies better than Shota Imanaga right now with the qualities that he's put together. Has 12 wins on the year. I mean, this is a guy who has become the ace of the Chicago Cubs. I love Justin Steele, but Shota Imanaga has shown that going into year two, he is likely going to be that number one guy. So I'm excited to see what the end of the year looks like for Shota Imanaga, where he finishes in this race. I understand he's over 30 years of age and he's played his entire career in Japan, but he is a rookie, damn it. He is a rookie, damn it. And he deserves to be in this race, to be in this conversation. And I don't see enough national media talking about that. Shota Imanaga, to me, is the second best rookie in the National League, right behind Paul Skeens. I think statistically, you can even look at it and say, because he's played more games, because he has more wins, because he has more innings, you might be able to say that Shota Imanaga was one of the best rookie pitchers in all of baseball this year.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
where are you at with the whole Rookie of the Year stuff?
Oh God, you got to have him in the conversation, and I mean, I don't even know what to say about the dude at this point. It's just been such a pleasure to watch him pitch. And in a year where the Cubs clearly needed him, by the way. I mean, just think about this year as a whole. Where is this team going to be if he wasn't in the rotation? I almost don't even want. I said, think about it. Don't think about it, because I'm going to get scared. I'm going to have nightmares at night. I'm going to wake up shaking in my bed. You know what I mean? We wouldn't even be anywhere close where we are right now. So it's just his ability to keep this team competitive. He's been such a game changer for this ball club, and I don't know if there's any I don't even know if there's words to describe how much us as Cubs fans really appreciate Shota Imanaga, especially when we have Justin Steele go down. It's been okay, right? It's been okay with Justin Steele, but for the most part, this has been the Shota Imanaga show. You got to have him in that conversation. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And if anyone has anything to say about it, I will fight you. Meet me at the streets. We will get it cracking.
Meet me on Addison. No, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I completely agree. And Shota, man, I mean, he's exactly as advertised from what I could see. He's pulling up in Bears jerseys. He's playing Chelsea Dagger to his warm-up song at every single home game.
Yeah, bro, little things like that, man.
He's buying photographers coffees. I mean, he's literally a man of the people. Remember, he bought the Naked Kids T-shirts when they were in the bleachers.
Yeah.
Those shirts. Like, he's buying dude shirts. Like, I mean, it's been incredible to see him really just embody what it means to be a Chicago athlete.
Hey, Chicago, what do you say?
Welcome
to Chicago, buddy.
Yeah, I was, when he did that, I was like, oh, I got edits to cook. I'm gonna cook. But it's been a lot of fun, man. And I think we talked about that in probably early April, May. You and I were kind of like, man, I don't like saying the face of your franchise as a pitcher, just because it's kind of like it kind of puts you in a weird spot, because it's like, okay, but who's the guy who's going to win MVP? Who's the guy who's going to produce runs every single day for this ball club? And going into 2025, man, I have a different. Let's not even talk about 2025. From September 2023 to September 2024, Pete Crow Armstrong has completely flipped the switch in my eyes of what I've seen. Now, I got to cover him a little bit in Iowa last year. I got to see him in person. He's doing crazy stuff. He's electrifying on the bases, but then he comes up and he goes 0 for 10, and you're kind of like, spring training, you're kind of like, even during the season, the first half of the year from April all the way to probably late July, you're like, man, is this guy ever going to figure it out? And for him to be able to put together this body of work in the second half of this season, again, over 26 stolen bases, gold glove defense every day in center. He's batting over 300 over the last 30 plus games. Like, he's doing it, and he's doing it in some of the most important times for Chicago Cubs baseball right now, which is the second half of the year, August, September. So I'm excited about it. Almost had the cycle last night. He was 3 inches away in my eyes from getting that
Mhm.
cycle, man. And I
Ah,
saw it on his face. He was hot, bro. He was
yeah.
coming off quick, bro. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
immediately already rounded first. I was
Yeah.
like, how are you even there, bro? Like he was going for three.
Oh yeah.
Um,
He would
and
have
that's
challenged. He would have challenged him for sure.
yeah, that's one of those where like I don't like guys going for individual accomplishments, but when you got the cycle, bro, like like Patrick Wisdom when he hits a solo home run and we're down 10-1 in the bottom of the eighth, I'm like, whatever. But like you're almost gonna get a cycle and we're no hitting the Pirates. Like we could have
Come
saw
on, man.
two instances of history yesterday. So
Yeah.
that was really cool. But man, we got another show coming up on Give Us a Shot. So make sure you give us a like, give us a follow if you haven't already. We got so much going on, so much content. Give us a like, share if you haven't. We got a lot of things coming up for the next couple of days. We got LA coming into town with Angel Reese. Rakia Jackson is in the building. No Cameron Brink. I do apologize to all my Cameron Brink fans that be in my comments asking if she's going to play on Friday. Buddy, her ACL's torn. I don't know. People are yelling at me in the chat. I don't know what you want from me. I'm not giving her mine. Like that's just what I mean. But it's gonna be
It's not
fun.
getting.
It's gonna be interesting. Miles and I got some stuff cooking that'll be posted tomorrow. Gonna be a lot of fun. Anthony Rizzo is back in town. Saw him at Lurie's Children's Hospital today, putting in the work, doing his thing. You love to see Big Riz come back like he never left. He's giving back to the community, giving back to a foundation that he
Yeah.
truly believes in. It's pretty amazing to see that he's still very much involved with so many amazing organizations, so many amazing hospitals that are putting in work. But until then, man, we'll appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back covering the Cubs and Yankees all weekend long. This is Miles Porter, the man, the myth, the legend himself. I am Mike Hughes. This is the Shy Kid Podcast. Peace.
Give them a shot to do what?